Hey guys, welcome back to another No Man's Sky video. Now, today I'm going to be talking about what I think is next for No Man's Sky and some updates I would like to see in the future for No Man's Sky. Now, this was a video I actually already made a few weeks ago, but in the video, one of the main things I discussed was adding ship interiors that you can decorate, and then Hello Games just went and added it randomly, basically. So I have to basically remake the entire video. And I just want to say the update that Hello Games added is awesome and completely changes the game for me. One of the things I love doing in No Man's Sky is exploring, so just being able to have a mobile base to bring around with me is amazing. Now, I want to preface this video by saying that No Man's Sky is already an amazing game, and this video is not me complaining or anything about some things that are lacking. It's kind of unheard of for a game to exist for this long and still get consistently massive updates. So shout out Hello Games. But the first thing I want to talk about is combat. Now, combat in No Man's Sky isn't the worst thing in the world. Especially ship combat is actually pretty solid. I don't think it really needs to be changed in any major way. However, in addition, I've seen a lot of people asking for in the No Man's Sky subreddit is that they would like to see manned turrets that you could attach to your ship that your friend could get in and, use while you fly the ship around. I think that would be really cool. But the main thing I would like to see added to the combat is more weapon variety and more enemy variety. So right now, the main hostile enemies that you fight in No Man's Sky are the Sentinels. When your settlement gets raided or you're doing a mission or something like that, you're usually fighting Sentinels. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're always fighting Sentinels. But I think it would be really cool if you could fight the already settled NPCs in the game, like the Vy'keen and the Gek and the Korvax. Imagine you have a settlement and there's an opposing settlement a mile away, and this settlement would be made up of all just NPCs. But it would be really cool if you could declare war against the settlement and actually go and maybe get an army of your settlement's inhabitants and go and fight that other settlement. And it wouldn't have to be gory or anything like that. Just it would make for more interesting combat, I think, fighting actual humanoid-esque NPCs. And then along with that, I think we should have access to more varieties of weapons, things like sniper rifles with scopes, or different attachments, and shotguns, and stuff like that would be really cool. And you could argue that that doesn't fit the game, but I think it could be added in a way that is more sci-fi. It doesn't necessarily have to look like a real, Earth shotgun or anything like that. Just more overall customization would be really cool. And despite all the issues that Starfield has, I think taking some inspiration from Starfield's combat could improve the overall combat experience quite a lot. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is cities and alien civilizations. Now, this is one of the things I've wanted most alongside ship interiors, which we have now, but I just think this would be such a huge addition to the game. With the update that we got 6 months ago, they added the ancient ruins, which are really cool. But I would love to see some actual thriving civilizations on planets. Now, again, this would be a massive ask and a huge undertaking for Hello Games. Adding functional cities with potentially governments, police systems, jobs, things like that would be a pretty insane thing to add to the game 10 years in, and would most likely take years of development. But just imagine how cool it would be to land on a planet with a, decently sized city, and you can see all the civilians walking around. You can see the civilians working, their jobs, just living their daily lives in the city. And imagine you could kind of intertwine yourself into this city's government, kind of like owning a settlement, but maybe a bit more in depth. Or imagine you could start a rivalry with the city and go to war with one, or take one over and become their leader. I just think this has a lot of really cool roleplay possibilities. The potential for No Man's Sky is just so massive, and I think it's already surpassed its original expectations. For me, it's the greatest space video game of all time, but I do think there are some things in No Man's Sky that have so much untapped potential, and I think they could take inspiration from other video games such as Elite Dangerous. And that's going to bring me on to my next point, which is universal governments and factions. Now, in Elite Dangerous, which is another space video game, there are basically factions and governments that own different stars, own space stations, things like that. And I'm not going to pretend to know all the lore or know exactly how it all works, because it is a very complex system. But it does make for some very interesting gameplay when you, let's say, commit a crime in one government star system and then have to go and hide in a different government star system to escape being fined or have a bounty put on you, things like that. and I would just love to see this expanded on in No Man's Sky. Now in No Man's Sky we do have the different races which do run different star systems. You know, every space station you go to in No Man's Sky has a different race, and they do have different economies. Some of them are more focused on resource transportation, but this really has a very minimal effect on gameplay and overall just doesn't really change much. So I think it would be really cool if the lore was expanded upon and these things just had more effect on gameplay. It'd be really cool if different stars with different space systems and their economies supported different styles of gameplay. Like let's say in one star you could be a trucker trucking around resources from space station to space station, which is another thing, is that like maybe they could add multiple space stations to the different stars, and then maybe like another star system supports, you know, exploration and it's full of scientists and things of that sort. I'm kind of just throwing things at the wall. These aren't ideas that necessarily have to be exactly how I'm describing, but I just think these would be some cool things to explore in the future and could improve the gameplay and experience of No Man's Sky. And the last thing I'm going to be talking about is just general animal improvements. Now, the animals in No Man's Sky are fine. They don't really change much. In my opinion, they mostly just exist for ambience, kind of something nice to look at as you're walking around a planet. And the models and animations of the animals are pretty good already, but I would like to see it improved upon a little bit more. If you scan an animal in No Man's Sky, it actually gives you a pretty in-depth description of the animal's behaviors and gives you some like additional facts about the animal. And these are interesting and I do enjoy reading these, but when you're looking at an animal in isolation without reading that text, it really doesn't mean much. They kind of all just act the same. Some of them run away from you if you get close, and then some are hostile, and that's honestly the only noticeable difference to me across the different animals. So just more interesting animal behaviors overall would be really nice. And then also potentially adding animal breeding. You know, this could be another farming aspect of the game. It would be really cool to be able to breed animals and maybe lead animals down a specific genetic path, maybe to create an optimal tame that you can ride. This is just a little idea. I think it'd be really cool. But yeah, anyways, this is gonna do it for this video. I want to say thank you for all the support on the last video. It did really well, and I'm going to be having more videos coming soon. I'm going to be doing a planet showcase video soon, just showing off different planets that I find that I think are cool. That's going to be a more consistent video type. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching and have a good day.